The Overwatch 2 support role nerfs. We have got all the details and we're going to cover them in this video. Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. This is of course the mid-season balance patch for Overwatch 2 in the current season. Now, what I will say is there is no Roadhog rework in this. Now, we've known that for a while because Aaron Keller actually came out in a recent dev update and said, hey, this won't be ready until towards the end of the season. So that's what we're going to cover in this video, are the balance changes. There are some crazy changes to tanks, notably D.Va, who gets a buff, and I think she was already really strong anyway. So let's just get stuck into this. As ever, there are timestamps in the video's description where you can jump to the relevant hero for you or the heroes that you're interested in, or in fact, just the balance changes that you are interested in. Okay, let's get stuck into this because these nerfs are kind of mad. So firstly, we've got the SSERAFIM in-game event. Now, this goes live on the 1st of November, and it includes a 3v3 capture the flag mode set in a K-pop themed Busan. The map looks pretty good. We've seen the trailers. They look kind of okay. But we still don't know the pricing, or at least I don't know the pricing of the skins as of recording this video. But yeah, expect them to be really expensive based on current cross collaboration stuff they've done in the past. I think it was 4,400 coins, so $44 for the One Punch Man bundle. I think it may have been reduced a little bit, but it was still very expensive. This is 5 skins, it's 5 emotes, it's 5 victory poses. You can do the math, it adds up, it's going to be quite expensive. So yeah, that event will be live soon. There's also some changes to the endorsement system, and we'll quickly go over this. So endorsement level decay has been reworked to be more forgiving in some circumstances. The endorsement level always decays slightly whenever you finish a match, but that decay is now reduced by the percentage of players who could not have endorsed you. If none of the players in the match could have endorsed you, your endorsement level would not decay. The following reasons prevent players from endorsing you. The player is your friend. The player endorsed you within the last 24 hours. Endorsement level decay also no longer occurs when the server shuts down. The most common reason for this in competitive is when a match closes because a player leaves early. So some decent changes there to the endorsement system. The hero challenge system gets a little minor update. So they've now added legendary, mythic, and ultimate player titles challenges to each hero's progression challenge, so that's kind of nice. Also, the progression system sees a minor update as well. The victory pose at the end of the game now shows your progression level instead of the hero level, and the dev comments here are just saying like, hey, the hero you end the match on isn't necessarily representative of you as a player. This change is intended to better show off your overall progression. So at the end of the game now, you'll just get the number for whatever level your account is, not whatever level the hero is that you played or you happen to play at the end of the game. Of course, like, you know, think of tank heroes. I don't play Wrecking Ball, but if I need to get back to the point really, really fast, I might swap to Wrecking Ball at the end of a game, and then it would look like I'm level 3 or something. It would not look great. So it would change. There's some updates to the social system, notably to the chat system. So we'll just go over this before we get into the balance changes. So the default option for match text chat is now set to off. Previously, this was set to on for new players. This can be changed in the social options. The default option for team voice chat is now set to on. Previously, this was set to auto join for new players. This can be changed in the social options. Current text or voice chat settings for existing players are not changed. The dev comments are, we will be changing the defaults for both text and voice chat to encourage effective communication through the ping system while reducing the chance of encountering disruptive chat in-game. Okay, let's get stuck into the changes because they're crazy. So we're going to start with tanks first. We're going to start with D.Va. Now, I'm going to read this out, and if you have been playing any D.Va in the current, well, just in Overwatch, you'll know she's very strong unless the enemy have got a Zarya, which, okay, fair enough. Or maybe even a Symmetra. But I've played against Symmetras and just wreck them. Just don't go near them. Just destroy the turrets and just ignore the Symmetra. But whatever. Micro missiles, projectile speed increased from 40 to 50. Now, that's only a 10-point increase, but that's actually a ton. So the micro missiles now are going to move much quicker. That is a massive buff. And not only that, fusion cannons, the movement speed penalty has been reduced from 40 to 30%. So that's a 10% increase in your movement when you're firing the fusion cannons. Again, this is a pretty big buff for D.Va. The dev comments, it's a bit deluded, this is. They say, the added projectile speed to micro missiles helps improve their consistency at medium range, while the decreased movement speed penalty on fusion cannons enabled D.Va to stick closer to multiple targets, making her more of a threat when diving into the enemy team. D.Va is literally one of the best tanks in the game right now, and they're buffing her. If you're a D.Va player, love this, because this is massive. This is like a huge buff to you. So, again, I don't know why they've done this. It just, I don't know. Sometimes with the balance changes, it feels like whack-a-mole. It's like, hey, we've not looked at D.Va for a while. Let's just buff her. Boom. Weird. Doomfist gets nerfed, and I don't think anyone was asking for this nerf, but let's just roll with it. So, Rocket Punch, minimum wall stun duration decreased from 0.25 to 0.15 seconds. Maximum wall stun duration decreased from 0.75 to 0.6. And the dev comments are, this change will give the stun player more opportunities to react to Doomfist following a wall stun. Again, pointless. Honestly, I think that is a pointless change. I mean, it's a nerf to Doomfist. You get punched into the wall, it's not going to feel as bad as it did before. But again, were people asking for this? Were there massive outcries? Was Doomfist dominating the game? No. Winston gets a buff to his alternate fire. So Tesla Cannon, the range has been increased from... this is a secondary fire of Tesla Cannon as well. I must reiterate that. It's not the primary fire. It's had its range increased from 30 to 40 meters. Again, a 10-meter range increase. And the devs say, oh, this will help him at longer range. Yeah, it will. Again, yeah, whatever. Like, I don't think that's a change. People are like, oh, that's a earth-shattering change to a tank hero. It's going to make me run back and play the tank hero. In fact, maybe that's why they buffed D.Va, because they want people to come back. In fact, yeah, D.Va's got a SSERAFIM skin, hasn't she? It's all making sense now. Okay, let's move on to the damage heroes. So Bastion. Oh, God. Bastion is... Let's just have story time with Sty. Bastion is the engine which is driving the entire meta in the game right now. Bastion dictates what tanks are played on the enemy team. Also, yeah, it's the other tank dictates, you know. So if you're playing, I don't know, Zarya, and the other team's playing Reinhardt, you're probably going to have a bad time as Zarya into that because of his barrier. But conversely, if you're playing Zarya and the enemy team have got a D.Va and you're going into that D.Va, you're probably going to have a good time because you're just going to be able to laser her down with impunity. Now, the other engine of meta drive comes from Bastion, because Bastion has got this very annoying ability to turn into a mobile gun turret and annihilate you if you're a tank. And so how do you deal with this? Well, you can't use a barrier because you'll just destroy it. You need an ability that will stop all incoming damage. So this means you look at heroes like Sigma, you look at heroes like Orisa. They both have abilities, and even D.Va to some extent, but Sigma and Orisa probably would take precedent. They've got abilities that completely negate the damage output of the Bastion, which means that you have to play them as your tank, because if you don't, your tank will die in every single engagement. So I don't know why Blizzard have taken this long to actually look at Bastion or even identify him as the main agent of drive behind the meta. It seems delusional to me that they've just not really actioned him earlier, because it is really frustrating. When you play enough Overwatch and you get the enemy team are just rolling with Bastion. They got Bastion, they got Mercy, and they've got, like, I don't know, maybe a Reinhardt or a Sigma. It's just game over. Like, you have to actually try and do everything you can to not take damage from the Bastion, but sometimes you will be caught out and you'll die. Anyway, let's move on. So the changes are configuration assault. So this is when it goes into the turret mode. Cooldown increased from 10 to 12 seconds, so it won't be able to do it as often. That's good. Weapon spread increased by 10%. So it's not going to do as much focused damage, I guess. But yeah, this is not enough, is it? No, I don't think this is enough. In any, even just reading that off the patch notes, in no world, I don't think it's that enough to stop Bastion being as powerful as he is. Another weird one. I don't think anyone has really been moaning about Cassidy either. I get the feeling a lot of these changes Blizzard make, they're just pulling them from pure stats. They're just like, oh yes, we can see that this ability's got this much uptime, so let's reduce it down. I don't know, it's really weird. So Cassidy, the Magnade, the cooldown has been increased from 10 to 12 seconds. Mei gets a nerf. Now, Mei has been very strong as well. Mei is also maybe the second agent of the meta engine at the moment. I don't know where I'm coming up with this terminology, but I'm just rolling with it. I'm coming up with it on the fly. You got Bastion and you got Mei. She's the other criminal in all of this. So it is good that Blizzard are looking at them. Yeah, so Mei's slow effect has been decreased from 40 to 30%, and that's it. A lot of people were probably maybe hoping something happened to Wall, maybe increase the cooldown on Wall or something. I don't know. Or maybe that's just me getting constantly killed by Wall as a tank. Oh no. Anyway, the dev comments are, with some of the recent changes, Mei is now slightly overperforming. You got to remember the recent changes to Mei would just revert and go back to her Overwatch 2 state after they messed around with a completely failed rework of the hero. Her improved primary fire damage output is good for her role. So rather than adjust that further, we're instead targeting the more commonly frustrating crowd control aspect. Yeah, and not the wall, not the giant wall that she spawns that just cuts off the tank from all of his support and the tank dies. Sombra. Okay, Sombra gets a bit of a buff here. So EMP ultimate cost has been decreased by 10%. The ultimate is the worst part of her new kit. So now you will get it 10% faster, effectively, or for 10% less cost, should we say, technically. So that's okay, but it's still kind of going to be trash. It's still very debatable whether this rework is actually any good. I think in the one camp, it feels more fun to play if you weren't a Sombra player already. So for me, I was not a Sombra player, but I enjoy this new Sombra more than the old one. But is it as effective? No. So it's weird. Sombra is very, very weird. Again, it's this thing with Blizzard of keeping the sort of fiction, the fantasy behind the hero of, hey, she's a hacker. She has to hack stuff. She's got to have, like, you know, stuff of that kind of ilk, which makes sense. And I'm not saying remove her hack or anything like that, but I don't know, she still needs a lot of work. It's almost like another hero we're going to see in a few, maybe in a year's time, is getting reworked again or something. It seems very odd. Symmetra gets nerfed. Now, Sim is very strong. She's always been really strong, Sim. But anyway, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, I think it's fine, but base shield health has been reduced from 125 to 100, so she's less survivable now. And the dev comments for Sim are this. They didn't have any comments for Sombra, by the way, and they didn't have none for Cassidy, but they say this for Symmetra. With Symmetra recently gaining more lethality in a long-range secondary fire, she's no longer as reliant on playing at close range, so we're reverting her total health back to 200. Whatever. Like, again, I don't think that's going to be... That's not an earth-shattering change to the game. It's just a change to Sim, so whatever. Okay, I hold my hands up here. I totally missed a change. And I've just recorded this. And I'm going to slap it in a video. So, yeah, this is Widowmaker. I completely missed this. So, Widow has got Infrasight. The ultimate cost has been reduced by 10%, which is okay. I mean, again, that's not... I don't think anyone was really asking for that, but whatever. Widow's Kiss, though, unscoped shots to reach maximum spread has been increased from 3 to 7. That means when you're in the submachine gun mode, you're going to be more deadly. And this is what the devs say about this. Recon Visor is taking a long time to charge on average relative to other ultimate abilities, so we're reducing the cost. Widowmaker is also a more severe disadvantage against Sombra with the recent rework, and these changes will add more counterplay. They will, but also you're buffing D.Va in this patch, Blizzard, who eats Widowmaker for breakfast. So I don't know, very odd. But yeah, I missed the Widow change. Okay, let's get into the support changes, because as was promised, there was going to be global support role nerfs. Now, there isn't a change to the support passive here, but rather there's a change to pretty much every single support. And what they're trying to do, I guess, is reduce the uptime of support abilities. That's basically all they're trying to do here. So let's go through this, because it's a lot. So firstly, we've got Ana. Now, Ana's Bio Nade, the cooldown has been increased by 2 seconds, so it goes from 10 to 12 seconds. Bio Nade is one of the best abilities in the game. The best Ana players will almost exclusively use this offensively. They will use it at times when healing is required by the enemy team, and they will just get decimated. It is an incredibly powerful ability. It always has been. It's always one of the abilities that Blizzard look at balancing for Ana, and they are increasing its cooldown time. So this means there are less anti-nades in a game. Is that a good thing? Yeah, potentially, because that means the Ana has to be more selective. We've all played Ana. Ana is literally the most played hero in the game, and we've all yeeted nades just randomly. I just throw them out all the time, literally on cooldown. It's like I'm terrible. I'm just chucking it at cooldown into the enemy team, but I know it's effective. So it does make sense that they're looking at this with Ana. That's the only change to Ana, though, and I don't think that's going to be too annoying for Ana players. It's only 2 seconds, right? It's not a massive increase on the cooldown, so I wouldn't worry too much if you were an Ana player. Baptiste, now he is, I'm going to say this straight up, he is probably the best support in the game right now. He does incredible damage. He's got massive survivability. He's effectively got like multiple health pools with all his abilities, his drone, everything. It's crazy, right? He can counter loads of abilities. His ultimate just turns him into an absolute killing machine. He's incredible, right, as a support. And this is what they're doing to him. Immortality Field, and this is the only ability getting changed. Health has decreased from 150 to 125, so that's a 25 reduction in health. The cooldown, though, has also increased from 23 to 25 seconds. So all this is doing to Baptiste is saying, look, you've got less of a immortality drone uptime throughout a game, but also to the enemy team, it's now much easier to kill. You won't be shooting the drone as much. Now, when I talk about multiple health pools, you've got Baptiste's actual health pool, you've got his regenerative field health pool when he pops that and starts healing himself, and then you've got his drone. When he chucks that on the floor, you have to shoot the drone, then shoot him. So you're effectively doing damage to another health pool. Now, that health pool was 150. Now it's only going to be 125. So this actually is quite an effective nerf, I think, to Baptiste. But I still think he's going to be very strong. I get the impression, and you guys probably do off those two changes we've gone over so far, where they're not really a lot. They're minor nerfs, but they're still going to keep the players who play those heroes playing those heroes. Like, I can't really see any major change to, I would not advise you to go, oh, well, you're an Ana player, forget playing her now. 2 seconds extra is going to cripple you. No. And it's the same for Baptiste and his immortality field. Illari gets, I think, a massive nerf. And I'm really sad about this because I think she's been one of the best heroes they've added to the game in a long, long time. She feels great to play, but she's getting absolutely hammered here with a nerf. So, Healing Pylon. The base health has been reduced from 75 to 50. So now it's only got a total combined of 100 HP. That's less than a Baptiste drone by 25 hit points, by the way. However, the cooldown when destroyed is increased from 12 to 15 seconds. So if you destroy the Healing Pylon, you're punishing the Illari even more because now she's got to wait for her cooldown. And also, it's just got less health, so it's easier for you to punish that Illari by just blowing up a drone. Also, and it doesn't end there, Solar Rifle, and this is a big nerf. Primary fire projectile size has been reduced from 0.1 meters to 0.05 meters. It's now half the size. That's actually a massive nerf. That means you've got to be way more accurate now with her primary fire. And this is what the devs say. Illari's overall damage output throughout a match, is too high, so we're reducing how consistent her solar rifle damage is to apply. Her weapon has some other disadvantages, such as needing to charge up and reduce and a reduced critical damage multiplier, but we'll be evaluating how much of an effect this change has in combination with the reduced healing pylon uptime. Now, I want to read the top part of that again. I want to read this bit where it says, Illari's overall damage output throughout match is too high, so we're reducing how consistent her solar rifle damage is to apply. The problem with this is they're making it harder for you to hit, which I think maybe they could have achieved this by potentially just lowering the damage numbers. Because what feels great in a game of Overwatch, right? Shooting people. And what doesn't feel great? Missing people. So, yeah, this is a really odd one. Again, I don't know why they've gone down this path. I don't agree with it. I think they could have made different changes here. But honestly, I think this is a pretty heavy nerf for Illari. Kiriko. Now, continuing with this theme of increasing the cooldown of critical abilities, Suzu is one of the best support abilities in the game. The cooldown has been increased from 14 to 15 seconds. So again, reducing the amount of uptime for this ability. Again, you know, when we're talking about best heroes in the game, best support heroes, we're going Baptiste, we're going Ana, we're going Kiriko. You know, it's just supports who are the best heroes in the game. So you can understand why Blizzard are going down the path of this type of nerf. But again, will this make much of a difference? Protection Suzu, it's still a really powerful ability. It still cleanses. It still prevents you from taking damage. It can save you from all kinds of stuff. It is just an incredible ability. An extra 1 second, does it really matter? I don't know. You guys let me know. Does it really matter? If anything, you think they'd buff her as well, considering she's got a SSERAFIM skin. Next up is Lifeweaver. Now, Lifeweaver's got the most healing output of any of the heroes in the game, but that doesn't really equal being an effective support. At the end of the day, if you look at heroes like Ana, if she throws an Ana nade into the enemy team at the right point, or an anti-nade, I should say, well, that's way more effective than an extra 2,000 or 3,000 healing over a game. But yeah, Lifeweaver does have the highest output of healing in the game. And what they're doing here is reducing a lot of his healing. So Healing Blossom is primary fire heal. The ammo has been reduced from 20 to 16. That's a massive nerf there. That's 4 less shots before you need to reload. And the max heal has also been reduced from 75 to 70. So that, again, is a big nerf when you put that across 16 shots. I mean, it used to be 20 and it used to be 75. Now it's 16 shots for 70. That is a lot less healing output. But not only that, life grip, so this is obviously the thing where he pulls you, the cooldown has been increased from 16 to 19 seconds. And I think the only reason they've done that is, again, because they're nerfing the support heroes with abilities that can change a fight. So they're increasing the cooldown on them, so you do that less in a game, which honestly I think just makes it less interesting. The developer comments here say, Lifeweaver's total healing over a match is significantly higher than any other hero, so to help bring it more in line, we're making some adjustments to his primary healing blossom. No mention of why they've nerfed life grip though, very strange. Next up is Zen. Now Zen gets an absolutely massive, and I mean this is a massive nerf to Discord Orb. In fact, this is going to make Zen feel, I think, pretty bad to play. So the base health has been increased from 50 to 75, right? So Zen now has 225 HP. That's good. However, Harmony Orb, time to wear off when not in line of sight, increased from 3 to 5 seconds. So that's not too bad. I'll read that again. So time to wear off when not in line of sight increased from 3 to 5 seconds. That's for Harmony Orb. That's for his heal. So that's okay. But then Discord Orb can no longer be reapplied to the same target for 7 seconds after the effect has been removed. And the range has been increased by 30 to 40 meters to seemingly compensate for that. So why do I think this is a massive nerf before we get into what the developers say here? If you apply Discord Orb to a tank or to any target and then take it off that target and apply it to a different target, you then cannot reapply it to the original target for 7 seconds. You're going to be there spamming the button like, why can't I reapply? That's going to feel pretty bad. Now, I think the reason they've done this is because you'll notice here there is no change to the percentage damage increase that Discord Orb applies to the target. So this means that they're trying to keep the power level there, but also make it it's got less uptime, which I suppose is in line with some of these other changes they've been making, increasing the cooldown of key abilities. So this is what the developers say. The goal of these changes is to add more counterplay against Discord Orb and encourage Zen players to think more about who to place it on. Now, if the effect ends for any reason, the target is temporarily unable to be targeted again by Discord Orb. A new soft targeting reticule appears when aiming towards an enemy player that cannot be affected by Discord Orb to display the remaining duration before it can be reapplied. This is a significant change to both how the ability feels to use and how clear it is to understand, so we'll keep a close eye on player feedback. This is a crazy change. This will be, anyone who plays Zen will just be like, this is terrible. This is terrible, terrible, terrible. Because again, I don't know, this is like, it's stopping you using one of your abilities that throughout the last 7 years of Overwatch, Zen has been able to apply on targets. Now he can't. It's going to, even though, yeah, there's going to be a new UI, which is going to go, oh, you can't apply it to this target. You're still going to try and do it if you're a Zen player, because that's just part of the way that Zen plays. This is just not good. I don't know what they're trying, well, I know what they're trying to do here, but I don't think this is good. You guys let me know in the comments below what you think about this, but this sort of, I don't think it came out of like the blue, but this is a very, very strange change to Zen. But yeah, so that pretty much covers the patch notes for the mid-season update. Now, there are changes to rumble and trigger feedback on console for every single hero. Don't worry, I'm not going to go over that. There's a link to the patch notes in the video description if you want to check that out. But basically, every hero gets reworked rumble and trigger and all kinds of stuff for console. And there's also a bunch of bug changes as well. Again, just go and check that out in the comments below. So there you go, guys. That is the mid-season patch. Like I said, most notably, there's no Roadhog, but we knew there'd be no Roadhog rework, and that was pushed back towards the end of the season. The support changes seem very heavy-handed on certain supports, while other supports just get a little slap on the wrist. The DPS changes, the Bastion one, I don't think it's enough, but it's in the right direction. The others just sort of don't really matter. The Cassidy and the Symmetra changes. And I think the tank changes, again, are very strange. I don't know why they've decided to nerf Doomfist. The Diva one, I literally cannot understand the Diva buff. That is like, she's very strong, so we're just going to buff her anyway. Okay. But like I said, it's probably because she's got a premium skin they want to sell you in the shop. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening and watching the video. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below, and I'll catch you a lovely lot on the next one. See you soon.